So do you like what did you finish?
Listing my personal things was good for me. His wife is actually a really good
But I mean, those are good. I mean,
Okay, so who do we have that doesn't already have an accountability group? So, hey everyone! Hey! So I got 1, 2, who else? 3. Who else needs an accountability group? Just the 3?
Yeah, I got 1. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So you 3 are now accountability partners.
So guys, go ahead and take a minute. What's up?
Get your contact info. Yep, you 3. This on?
You guys have anybody online that doesn't already have an accountability group? If you don't, go ahead and type in the chat.
Bro, I'm checking online to make sure everybody's got grouped up too.
Oh, yeah, that's
So Aaron says,
So Carla, you do not. Okay, who else? Brock, you have to text me. We'll get into that. Who else do we have? Okay, I was going to say, like, that's bold, Brock. Talking about your accountability group like that. The echo. Okay, gotcha. So there is a bad echo. They're saying there is a really bad echo. Okay, so Carla, let's see. Will you type your contact details in the chat so we can pass that to a group and get you connected? And then phone number and email if you would. Do we have a group of 2 anywhere? Anyone that was already grouped up? Is there a group of 2?
but not 3. For the accountability group. Hey guys, on the accountability group, does anybody have a group of 2? You got one more that's on Zoom.
Yeah, she can join on. Me and Aaron. Yeah, Aaron.
Aaron Bates is on the chat. What was your name? Jennifer.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Aaron. So yeah, so Carla, you're actually going to be joining Aaron and Jennifer. Aaron, will you go ahead and put Jennifer's details in the chat as well, so that Carla has both of you? Awesome. Thank you. Perfect. So that gets us covered. Sweet.
Like, I'm not going to see.
If you don't mind, I said on the side so we can because just distracting.
Kind of trying to
Not too bad. You're good. You can move. Yeah, he's
He's a mover.
oh.
Yeah.
He's a visitor.
Is this on?
Hey, everybody online, is this on? This is a new mic.
So there's still an echo. Is there a volume control on this?
You trying to go into my the one that was, yeah. The one that we put on, they didn't accept the guy that owns it. We walked on your like, I don't know how they're gonna read your guys' product. And we wasn't gonna sell it. It's like 2 houses on the same.
All right, guys, let's rock and roll.
They did it wrong. They liked it.
Let's rock and roll.
I need everybody to stand up. This is a COVID-friendly game. If your energy is not high enough, it's going to be now. If you need a couple caffeine pills, I got them in my office. Let's go. All right. Have you guys ever played rock, paper, scissors? Wow. Your parents are terrible parents. Okay. This is rock, paper, scissors with your whole body. If you guys have ever been to my classes before, you know we play this every time because really at heart, I'm about 3 years old. Okay, it's called Bear, Ninja, Cowboy. Got it? Bear, Ninja, Cowboy. I should probably write this down. You guys are going to forget it. It's so much fun. Okay, so the bear kills the ninja who kills the cowboy. And the cowboy shoots the bear. Does that make sense? So it's rock, paper, scissors, same rules. Bear, ninja, cowboy. Someone make like a bear stance. Mindy, there you go. That's bear. Okay, got it? Just make a bear. You have to growl or else you lose. Got it? Ninja, and you got to say like, or whatever. Okay? So you have bear, you have ninja, and you have cowboy, which, I mean, yeah. You guys got it? Okay. Because it's COVID friendly, we can't like touch each other. Usually you stand back to back. So if you're comfortable with it, back to back. Otherwise, just don't face the person you're playing. Round 1, pick a partner. You have 5 seconds. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I will count it down for you. I will do the countdown. It'll be 3, 2, 1, go. Got it? All right. Bear, ninja, cowboy. 3, 2, 1, go. I love it. If you tie, stay standing. If you tie, stay standing. If you lose, sit down.
You're out.
What? If you're the same, that's a tie. You can stay standing. All right, pick a new partner. New partner. Can't play the same person twice. 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3. All right, new partner. New partner. We need one up here. There's Andrew. Andrew needs one. All right. There we go. We're good. Just stay standing here. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Same thing. Take a seat. Oh, man. This is so good. All right. Pick a new partner. This is too much fun. We need one over here. Garrett needs one. Right there. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, Cowboy killed a bear. Man. All right. New partners, new partners. This is so fun. You guys look like total morons. No, I'm kidding. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. All right. New partner. We're getting down. We're getting down there. All right. All right. Someone gets a bye week. You're okay. You get a bye week. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Losers sit. Winners. All right. Winners, come up. Come up front. We're going to go right here. Winners, come up front. If you're still in, come on up. All right. Hey, Patrick, I'm going to need you to be in on this one, okay?
Eric,
Come on up here.
Going down,
Partner.
buddy.
Partner up. Partner up. We're still going. You're just doing it in front of the class now.
I already get you.
All right. Ready?
I don't know. What are we doing? Same
Same
thing.
game. Come on now. What? Are you gonna magically change games? 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Bear beats the ninja. Ninja beats cowboy. Cowboy shoots the bear. We got 3 left.
Yeah, well, I was out.
Yeah, you're out. Get out of here.
All right, Patrick, is that your name?
Andrew.
Andrew and Mindy. 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, ninja beats the cowboy.
What do I get? What do I get?
Which one do you want?
Oh, I have both of them.
Okay, I'll buy you a different book.
Okay.
Which one do you want? You got it. That means we get one more round later. Oh.
Did you get me videoed?
All right, did everyone sign the sign-in sheet? Okay, if you didn't, it's up here. Come grab it afterward. KW actually tracks your trainings, especially Ignite. So if you guys want to advance some deeper trainings inside the KWU system, you do have to make sure that you've signed into your Ignite courses. All right, I handed you guys out a little deal called the Land of Opportunity. When I opened, I told you guys 3 things. 1, we'd get through the material. 2, we talked about how to build better relationships through actual real scripting and being real people. And 3, I told you that I talked about a whole lot of stuff that was not useful at all in context of your database, but will help you in life, right? So I think we're almost there. I wish, out of everything that I've learned in KW, someone would have sat me down and put this in front of me. This is the single greatest gift that KW's brokerage can give someone. And let me tell you, I interviewed 11 brokerages, 11. My uncle owned a Coldwell Banker. He also now owns a John L. Scott. He also owns like KW or 2 or 3 now, okay? So he's been through a progression. My mom was at an indie brokerage years and years ago, and I interviewed literally everyone in town, okay? And I also was at ATL for a little bit. So I had the luxury of recruiting other agents here in town. So all of that to say, working for the biggest brokerage in the world comes with major perks. Not only is it the #1 training company, bar none, in our industry, to the point where Trainer Magazine doesn't even allow us to compete anymore. Like, think about that. We're in their Hall of Fame. We're like 1 of 4 companies in Trainer Magazine's Hall of Fame. So every year we just get another Hall of Fame award. They don't even consider us in the running. And that's competing with major corporations. 3M won it one time. I mean, that's just crazy, the awards we won through training. So you get the training, but you get this opportunity right here. What this tells you is that you get to do whatever the heck you want because of who you are, okay? So if you look at this, we're gonna start on the bottom. This is the Land of Opportunity. There's gonna be a lot of questions around this. If you have questions, I'd love to meet and talk to you about it. So would Tim, our team leader. He's a geek for this kind of stuff. Ignore the Northern California and Hawaii. Good old Tony Brody, my boy. He put this together, he's their RD. But on the bottom, agent, that's all of us. We all come into this organization as an agent. Very, very few people have come into the Keller Williams organization at any other point other than market center staff or agency. And if you look at who's running our company at a high level, who owns market centers, who is regional directors, regional owners, even company owners, Gary Keller himself, it all started down at agents. In fact, if you hear Gary talk, when you ask Gary what he does, he always says, I'm a real estate agent. What? He has an active brokerage license in the state of Texas still. Why? He is a broker, obviously, but that's how he thinks. That's who he is, right? That's where he started. It's his roots. So all of us are right here at agent. Immediately you get instant opportunities, right? Opportunities is another fancy way of avenues of growth. That's all it is, right? Some come with higher paychecks, some come with residual income, some come with no money at all. But the point is that you're growing. So when you see opportunity, just think growth. On the left, you have the Agent Leadership Council. The Agent Leadership Council is a local organization inside a KW built of agents who have capped, okay? So one of the benefits of being a capper is that you get the opportunity to make decisions as an ALC. ALC is the board of directors for our local KW. So there is a Springfield Agent Leadership Council. They're our board. They make decisions on our policies like, well, I don't know, you name it, office space to the cost of the printing to caps. I mean, years ago, they adjusted caps. They make major decisions for our organization. We used to support Realtor.com. Then they moved to Op City. It was the ALC who chose to remove us from Op City because it was costing a fortune, driving up our expenses. The other side of that on the right is profit share. Every single agent gets the opportunity to profit share. I thought that was a load of, when I started, I was like, I'm not going to recruit people. Like, that's so stupid. Well, the reality is you don't really have to. Okay, so the 7 circles we talked about, they create a whole person. We talked about you as a whole person attracts a certain energy or a certain person, right? Well, a lot of times, if you're a whole person, naturally they're going to call you, like you called Tony, right? And you say, hey, I'm thinking about getting into real estate. Talk to me about real estate. That's profit sharing. Like, you just be a great agent and a good person. And when people want to join in real estate, they're probably going to reach out to you. If you're approachable, if you're humble and kind, right? So my profit share has been built through that. The other thing that was built through was team, right? So as you grow a team, you can actually profit share through your team. I don't make a ton of money in profit share, but a free $5,000 a year never hurt anyone, right? You look at the McKissicks. I mean, Linda made $143,000 last month in profit share. Her husband, Jimmy, did $128,000. They'll do well over $1 million, $2 million combined this year in profit share. You don't have to work for profit share. It just comes and goes, right? In our office, Zach Riggs is over 20,000, so he's got to basically pays for his cap. Adam Grady's up there as well. There's all kinds of people. Brian Stone's up there. Brian Stone. Sorry, I pointed over there, and he's not there for me. And then I saw your jacket in the purple, and I was like, no, that's not right. So you have profit share, you got ALC. The next thing you have is this mega agent team. Okay, mega agent just means you're doing like 5 to 6 million or more, right? It's not really a lot. But there is kind of a benchmark where it doesn't really make sense to have a team if you're not doing enough production, right? So the reason they call it a mega agent team is you're doing enough production to be considered a mega agent in your market, and you're starting to grow a team. There's a reason that that's an opportunity. And the reason is leverage, right? So if you have people doing things for you, you likely have either more time to grow your business or to pursue a different opportunity, right? Does that make sense? So as your team grows, you get more and more opportunities. On the right-hand side, going north of mega agent, you see market center investor, closing company investor, mortgage company investor. So literally, if you're a good enough agent, you could have the opportunity to buy into ownership of Keller Williams Springfield or Keller Williams Joplin or Chicago or whatever you want. Literally, agents own Keller Williams, and they get that opportunity through being an awesome agent, right? Closing company investor. You could approach Hogan Land Title, Titan Title, whoever you want about buying into their closing company. You can absolutely do that. Adam Grady's done that. Mortgage company investor. There's a ton of KW agents that own mortgage companies across the nation, right? You have those opportunities. Mega agent expansion team, right there, just north of mega agent team. This is a fun one. Keller Williams is one of the only companies in the world that's basically said if you have an awesome business that's easily duplicatable, because you have a killer database, by the way. But if you have an awesome business that's easily duplicatable, you can expand to other markets. You go to Kansas City, go to Joplin, you can go to St. Louis, you can go to Milwaukee, I don't know, whatever you want, right? I would probably expand to my hometown because I know a ton of people there, right? So I might be in Southern Oregon or Central California, whatever, right? So you get the choice if you want to over time. So what we're talking about here is envisioning a big life. We're envisioning not only career growth, other opportunities. On the left-hand side, you have Market Center Productivity Coach, Market Center Admin, which is Rachel Lusk, Market center team leader. So you have those opportunities as well. So you don't have to sell real estate your entire career if you feel like doing what Tim does might be an attractive thing, or doing what Rachel does might be an attractive thing. Through the team leader role, and frankly through the mega agent role, you have the opportunity to look at the KWRI regional director positions. You can become a MAPS coach. By the way, team members, if you're on a team, you can become a MAPS coach. Sam, my assistant, is starting the Red Shirt program. Like, there are a lot of opportunities inside that. There's transformational coaching, there's operations coaching, there's agent coaching, ISA coaching, you name it coaching. So if you wanted to become a MAPS coach, you can do that. Typically, you hold about 20 to 40 clients. Those 20 to 40 on average pay you about $550 a month per client. You make really good money and everything's done over Zoom. And you get to meet cool people and learn and grow yourself. MAPS coaching is a huge opportunity. Moving on. Market center operating partner. That's Dan Holt, right? If you buy into ownership, you might have the opportunity to actually run the market center as the OP, or the operating principal partner. KWU, Keller Williams University. That's me. I'm on that today. So today, as we wrap up, this is the opportunity that I'm pursuing. The reason I'm pursuing it is because the Keller Williams University instructors have made more impact on me than anyone in our company, maybe save like Dan Holt because of the opportunities he's opened for us. But with that being said, this is something I'm looking at. So on there, you can see master faculty, approved faculty, market center faculty. So I'm pushing to that next step and getting to the approved faculty. Once you're approved faculty, if you get to master faculty, that's when you get to teach some really large classes with hundreds and hundreds of people. You need to make some serious impacts on them, right? So this is where we're looking at. And then on the far right, we have KW Worldwide. This is probably like the biggest wide open frontier. Keller Williams is now an international company. If you bring Keller Williams to a different country, that means you're like not only number one, the investor of the entire country, so you own all the franchises in that country, but then you also profit share. They call it growth share. You actually make money from everyone who does a transaction in that country. So they're huge opportunities. These are things that people like all of us are actually doing in our company. Like legitimately, you go to a family reunion and be like, oh, this is Don. Don just bought KW Chili. And you're like, wait, like the country? Like, yeah, he was a missionary there. He went down there and opened the KW office. Now they have 3,000 agents. Like, oh, and Don, who sold $3 million of real estate at his peak, just happened to go down there, got approval and support from his operating principal, his Dan Holt, and opened it up. And now he's probably making, I don't know, $11 million a year. Right? Just by going back to the country he loved and doing what he loved in real estate. There's huge opportunities here. And then of course up top, market center expansion, mortgage company own it, closing company own it, property management. Then upper left, KWRI regional operating partner. So each region, each franchise region has its own staff and ownership of that franchise region. So I put this in front of you right now, because in your career, when we're talking about database, we really only link database to closings. Right? What we fail to do is ask ourselves, what do you want when you've closed thousands of transactions and you're feeling the same way you feel right now? What's ahead of me is intimidating. I'm not sure if I totally love it, but I'm learning. What do you do in that moment? Where are you headed? What's your plan? Most agents' plan stops at I close 100 units, or I close 1,000 units, or I grow a mega team, and that's it. Go to Murney. I hate to pick on them, but what are they going to do for you after you've become the top agent? What options do you have? What are you going to like go open in Rolla? Like, you know, you can't do it. So there's a uniqueness to being in a company as big as Keller Williams, and a uniqueness to the opportunities. So even if as an agent, it's not like your passion for life, and you discover that you're like, man, this isn't what I want forever. Maybe coaching people on a one-on-one basis is, and making a lot of money doing it. Maybe teaching to classrooms like this. This is like my retirement plan. This is what I want to do when I'm old, right? I want to have a farm and I want to teach people. That's all I want to do, right? Or maybe it's, man, I just want to own market centers. I don't even want to sell real estate. I just want to own them, help people run them, have great businesses. There's tons of opportunity for you out there. And it starts with, at the bottom, being a great agent, okay? That's why we do database, is because the opportunities it opens don't only fund a big life. And this is only in KW, by the way. Like David and I were just talking, we got flip properties, rental properties, whatever you want to do. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities inside of real estate, outside of KW. This is just inside of KW. So don't think that what you're doing in Ignite, checking in, signing in, doing the 10-4s, like that stuff's actually tracked. I can go to the white pages in KW, pull up your name and see if you've done Ignite and if you succeeded in it or not. I can see if you've gone to Bold and how many times. Like those stuff are the things that are considered when we're looking at growth inside of KW. Okay, I digress. Any questions about the opportunity? Cool. Anybody? No? Okay. I geek out about this to the point where I found this the other day. Where's it at? So this is kind of fun. All right, can you guys see this? All right, so they just put this out on KW Connect. Obviously, this looks a lot like the 7 circles because one thing and KW are partners, but you have these different opportunities. You have funding, wealth building opportunities, buying market centers, all those kinds of things. Leadership opportunities, team leader, match coaching, all that kind of stuff. Ownership, business ownership, education, service, and growth. All kinds of ways that you can actually expand within the corporate parent. And by the way, I'm not paid to advertise any of this. I just love the opportunities, and I've seen people's lives change big time, including mine, right? Oh, let me go to the next slide. Come on. There we go. So here's some of the education. Bold Coach, KW Kids Can instructor. If you love kids, you can teach kids how to think big and find opportunities. KW approved trainer, young professionals, leverage instructor. That's a fun one. Teach people how to hire and grow businesses. So if that's your passion, pouring into people and growing businesses, you actually get to teach that at a high level. I think last year my team spent like $3,000 for a leverage instruction. It's pretty cool. Like pretty amazing opportunity there to teach people. And it helps. MAPS coaching, market center trainers, master faculty, tech ambassador, great ways to help people. Bold coaching, here's some qualifications. You can actually go teach Bold. The #1 agent, this was in 2018, Cody Gibson, was a Bold coach, right? And he grew his business through expansion because he taught Bold, because he loved that program. And then agents in these different market centers around the world wanted to work with him directly and joined his team. And they were now the expansion in that area. So he grew the biggest expansion network still to this day through being a Bold coach. Not only that, but he obviously impacted a ton of lives. This is all found on KW Connect. So you want to be a Bold coach? Here's your qualifications. Here's your training. This is why it's important we do what we do, right? There's Bold coach. We already talked about that. More qualifications. KW Kids Can instructor. If you guys want to, we can email this out to you. Just come to me after class and get it to you. Approved trainer, which is what I'm working on, right? So bunch of stuff. Okay, keep going. Young professionals, leverage. I'm going to move through this a little bit faster, but you guys get the idea. All right. And here's ownership, right? This is a fun one. Business owner, solo agent, expansion network, specialization. David, you got that land hat on. You could literally own KW land in Southwest Missouri. There's no one else doing it, right? Team owners, all kinds of stuff here. Click through a little bit faster. Market center leadership, regional leadership. These are actual opportunities for you guys. And you can still have a team and do these things. Obviously, Dan does his operating principle. So does Tim as team leader, MCA, OP. I mean, this list goes on and on and on. And if you guys want me to keep going, I can go through them all. But these things are awesome opportunities for you. This is the stuff that they really need. Please send me your occupational opportunity slide. Oh, Wemos. There you go. Hi, Wem. Miss you. Hope your bees are doing good.
They are doing good. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, okay, that's awkward. I apologize. All right, you guys get the idea. This goes on and on and on. Let's go back to database, but I digress, right? This is an amazing opportunity for you guys. And a lot of people just don't even think about what we're doing here. All right, I'm gonna go back to page 22. I say back, but it's actually kind of forward. Again, if you have questions about the land of opportunity chart or all the different slides and stuff, please reach out to me. More money is actually made outside of the agent role than in the agent role, along with impact a lot of times too. So, all right, page 22 gives you a few examples. We talked about a script that we have for the contact, and this is another, I want to give you a couple more here. So the goals for the contact, right? That's that when we're putting them into our database, we have that first talk with them. Ask for their business. How many of you guys love getting a call that says, hey, I want to have a business conversation with you. Do you want to buy life insurance for me? Or from me, not for me. You know what I mean? Like, no one wants that call at all. Like, if anyone called me or like, hey, straight up, it's a business conversation. Let me get your business. I'm like, okay, shut up. Right? You're not in my world. That's how we need to understand, like, that's how we have to not communicate. Okay. And it's easy with a lot of the KW scripts to immediately come off that way. Right. So one way you can do it is create a presence on social media, right? So these people see you, you interact with them, so that your call doesn't have to be an ask for business. I was the guy that was literally calling my SOI being like, hey, I need a deal. Like, straight up, do you want to buy or sell your house? And they'd be like, no, hang up. Burning relationships. Like, no one wanted my call after that, right? So the way we do the ask is very simple. It's so easy. Remember that question that I said, if your coffee meeting doesn't last the full 15 minutes, you can ask them, what's one thing that I can help you with that will further your career or whatever you're focused on in 2021? That same question can be applied in reverse. Hey, I've got one thing I need your help with in 2021. And I know we're great friends, and I don't want this to be awkward, but let me tell you about what I'm doing, okay? And then this is, so for example, you guys all saw Tani Warna's post. She's wanting to close 84 transactions, right? So her goal is 84 families helped. So let's use Tani's script. My goal is to help 84 families find a new home, right? Last year I did this, or if you're new, don't even bother saying what your track record is. So last year I did 50. I need to help 34 more families. I know you and I are good friends, and you know that I'm a professional, and I know that you're a professional. So do you know anyone that I might be able to contact who's talked about houses or talked about flipping or talked about investing or anything like that? If not, no worries, right? They say yes, no, whatever. So it's not asking for business, but you've done it in a personal manner. The other side, the flip side, is stalk them on Facebook, okay? Stalk them on Facebook, which is the best. Every SOI contact you make, stalk their Facebook and their Instagram account. Actually, Instagram's gotten way better with this because people post more personal stuff on Instagram. I don't know why. Facebook's like, did you see the line in the grocery store? Instagram's like, just bought this new flower, right? And I'm not kidding you. I literally had an SOI call that was like, hey, I saw you bought a new plant. I Googled the plant and looked it up, right? Stupid. What's that?
What's the acronym again?
Board? No, SOI. Oh, sphere of influence. Oh, the people you know and love. Yep. The Met database. And so, hey, I saw you bought a plant. Yeah, what kind of plant is that? They know I don't care. Who calls them that? What kind of plant is that? Oh, it's what's a plant name? Someone, snake plant? That's something. That's a snake plant. There you go, yeah. All right, so it's a silly looking green thing that's gonna die in 2 weeks. Yeah, great, that's fantastic. Can you teach me more about those plants? A lot of the people that I help in real estate have been buying unique plants for their homes. And that's something that I just know nothing about. Do you mind sitting down and just teaching me about it? Or better yet, do you have somewhere I can look and figure out, like, you have like a favorite botanicals book or something? You know? And my joke is always like, I understand botanicals and gin, but in real life, I have no idea. So make it personal, look at what they're doing, ask them to teach you about it, right? Because who doesn't, I mean, shoot, I got a guy named Smiley Mondragon. Yeah, what a name, right? Dude's awesome, competition barbecuer. He is an amazing human being, and that dude eats a lot of barbecue and drinks a lot of Busch Light. He's on Instagram, always posting it. So I wanted his business. I knew he was going to be moving soon. So I called him, said, well, let me rewind. I didn't call him. I found him on Facebook. I then dropped him into Fast People Search. Free. You can type in a name, a phone number, an address. It'll pull any records it's got on that person. Totally free. Fast People Search, change business. And I kind of bluefished him, which that's another book. If you don't know that term, look it up, bluefishing. So I bluefished him. So I put myself in his world, right, in a way that would make him want to be in mine. So I called him. I said, hey, we have an event coming up for our team. Was it true? Yes. Did it have anything to do with barbecue? No, not at all. And I asked him, I said, do you mind talking to me about what you do in competition barbecue? And could you do that for a real estate related event? And he was like, Yeah. Okay, yeah, I guess. It's like, can I buy you a beer? Because I know it was Rashad. Can I buy you a beer? And I know where his address is, but I looked him up on tax records. And so I picked a spot over by his house, a little dive bar that I will never walk into again. And I go, can I buy you a beer? So I go and I buy him a beer. And we talk about competition barbecue. And guess what? He lists his house with me 2 weeks later, right? Was it an ask for business? No. Did I put myself in his world and talk about business? Yes. Right? That's the book Blue Fishing by Steve Sims. If you guys haven't read that, that is the best way to create relationships that are targeted. Okay. Asking for referrals is a fun one, right? My team asks for referrals 6 times inside the real estate transaction. Okay. You go under contract, we want to review and referral. Actually, no, you have an appointment with us. We immediately send a follow-up email. We want a review and a referral. Right? Like right there, it's in the email. Like it's very bold. But at the same time, it's like so great to meet you. It was wonderful. As you know, our business is built on great people like you. If you don't mind, before next time we meet, think of someone who might be interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate and bring their name to our next meeting because we want to help them find an amazing home the same way we're going to help you find your dream home. It's like the dumbest, easiest script. And every time you go on the appointment, you come back, we sit down and you go, did you happen to think of anyone? And they go, no. You go, no problem, next time. And you move on with whatever your next appointment or your next conversation is. Next time rolls around, hey, Mindy, did you happen to think of anyone? I know last time you didn't, but this time did you? Actually, yeah, my friend Joey's thinking about maybe buying an investment house. Great, thanks. Boom, I called Joey. Joey, Mindy gave me information. She's one of our favorite customers. Mindy's finding her dream house with us, and we wanted to contact you because she said you might be interested in an investment property. I'd love to meet you and figure out what you're looking for. Right? The referral question is no pressure, and you have to relieve the pressure by being like, hey, no problem. But you also want to ask for it and remind them of it. Right? So if that's not built into your systems already, go ahead and build it in. The same way, if you're like selling makeup, right, or like Tupperware or whatever on a multi-level marketing. They'd be like, hey, Andrew, you bought those sweet Tupperware bowls with lids from me. Do you love them? Yeah. Have you told anyone about them yet? No. Oh, well, you're a terrible customer. Hey, Alex. No, I'm just kidding. But you go, why not? Right? You get feedback. If he says yes, you'd be like, that's awesome. Well, who was that again? You're like, Mindy Whitty. Like, perfect. Fast people search, Mindy Whitty. Mindy Whitty. Hey, Andrew told me that he was talking to you about his Tupperware bowls. Have you ever thought about buying Tupperware?
I have.
Yeah. Have you bought it before?
No, I really don't know where to get it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I am the exclusive real estate, Tupperware dealer in town. Right? I mean, it's literally as simple as like, hey, 1 in 7 people, this is a script you use, 1 in 7 people are going to buy real estate in the next 30 to 60 days. Okay. I truly believe that through our systems and our service, even if you don't have it, systems and service, we can help people better than anyone in town. Or I like to say better than anyone in the world, because I define the world differently than everyone else does, right? The world for me is the people I know and love. So I can help the people in my world, or I can help people better than anyone in the world. I would love to connect with Mindy. Andrew goes, okay, that's weird. Can I have her number? No, dude, no problem. Fast people search. Hey, Mindy, talk to Andrew. Right? Like, no one gets burned by that because I want to make Andrew look like a pro when I actually get the referral. If I don't get the referral, the answer is, dude, no problem. Next time we talk, if you happen to think of anyone, just let me know. That's the only way I can build my business is through great people like you.
Do you really call if they don't give you the number?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, all the time. All the time.
And drop the name?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah. Because here's the deal, right? If Andrew doesn't give me the number, okay? But what I don't do is go, do you mind if I call him?
Right.
You say no there, you're done.
Right.
Right? I say, do you have their number? And he says, no, no problem.
Right.
I never said I wasn't going to contact him. So you have to stay above the board ethically, but you also have to understand that people's natural objection is to not help you create business. Like naturally, they want to be pushed away from anything that feels salesy, which is why it's a brush off. No problem, not a problem at all. And then I'm following up with you. I do it over text too. The text is so easy. Oh my gosh, this is the best part ever. Text has changed real estate, by the way, especially because everyone's so used to it now. Like when I started 5 years ago, text was really popular, but people didn't want like official conversations through text. Now it's like, you guys know we do our negotiations through text most of the time. Andrew, thanks for doing business with me. Hope you've had a great time. You know, I mean, last time we talked, you had mentioned your friend Mindy was interested in real estate. Do you mind if I grab her number? He says, oh, I don't have it on me. Let me follow up with her and I'll have her contact you. Great. I don't even respond. I just like it a little emoji, like double tap, like, yeah. It shows that you read it, but like, you're like, okay, cool, but you don't actually respond. You know what I'm saying? Then I call Mindy or text Mindy. Hey, Mindy, Wes Litton here. My good friend Andrew said you were interested in the real estate market. If you're anything like him and a great person too, I want to meet you. That's it. Dash Wes. That's it. Don't even say I'm a real estate. Don't even say anything other than my good friend Andrew said you might be interested in real estate. I want to meet you. And if you don't respond, great, you don't respond. But you know where you are? You're in my database, right? You're in my database and you're getting 8 contacts through my database in 2 days, right? And you're like, oh my God, this guy just blew me up. So I text you again and said, hey, I just saw my database just sent you like a million things. I am so sorry about that, period. Can I talk to you real quick and see if I can get you taken off some of this stuff? Right? Like, how easy is that? And then you're like, okay, I'm pals with Andrew. I've already bragged on him. Now I'm connecting with you. And then I'm showing I'm human and realize that the marketing probably isn't what you want. So now I'm going to go in. We're going to have a phone call. Right? Usually at this point, they call or they text. Or they'll say, yeah, call me in 20 minutes or whatever. So then the call comes in. Hey, Mindy, Wes Litton here. Thank you so much for calling me. I just noticed that, you just got blasted on our database. I want to apologize for that. That was not our intent to frustrate you. That's a key word. It's not our intent to frustrate you. Andrew said you're an amazing person, that you might be interested in real estate. Can you tell me more about what you're wanting to do? Let him talk. You're taking notes in your database this whole time. And those notes are going to inform what campaign you put them on, right? So if you're 8x8, or we call it speed to lead, right? That initial campaign is like hit, 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 right? Once you talk to them, they move from not met into met, right? Or non-contacted into contacted. So you should have a separate follow-up for your contacted people. And Mindy's going to say, I'm not really in the market. Been thinking about it. I got this house on Central I've been trying to sell or rent, and now I might want to sell. Okay, bing, bing, listing, right? So listing pipeline. And then my follow-up question is, do you still have a tenant in there? Or whatever qualifying question I need about the property, not about Mindy, okay? Because I'm soliciting business by asking questions. She gives me all the information I want, okay? Then I tell her, okay, here's the deal, Mindy. I'm gonna take you off any marketing emails and that kind of stuff, because obviously no one wants that. Marketing email, what is a marketing email, right? It's the same thing Amazon does. They're not sending you marketing emails, they're sending you products you might love, right? Here's where Command is going to be your best friend ever, or whatever database you use. Set them up on a property search. And in our database, we get really specific on the property search, and I think in Command you can too. But set them up on a property search based on either A, the address that I have for them on the tax records, or through Fast People Search. So if it says Mindy lives in Ozark and she lives in Mulberry Ridge, she's getting a Mulberry Ridge home search, okay? Even if the property she might list is in Central Springfield, okay? She's getting a Mulberry Ridge, because what's worth more money? Central Springfield house or Mulberry Ridge house? Mulberry Ridge house. She's getting that as her search campaign. So anytime something in her neighborhood or the neighborhoods next to her gets listed, she gets an email, right? And you can pick the frequency in Command. So you're gonna pick the frequency. I usually do twice a week. If anything new hits, twice a week you're gonna hit it. That's our default. So now she's getting property searches for her home, not for this other central one. Guess who's sending her manual property searches? I am, right? So in my campaign, it's gonna say she's listing, I don't know, let's say she was gonna list it in 6 months. She's a listing 6, so, or in the ABC scale, she's a listing B. So it should be C. So I know that twice a month, I'm gonna text her a list of properties near her central house. That's my follow-up. How easy is that? Hey, Mindy, last time we talked, you had mentioned your central house. Here's a few properties that have just sold or just got listed or whatever you want to do. Or here's a couple unrelated properties that no one even cares about. Here you go, because the point's the connection and the relationship. It shows that you listen to her on the phone call and you follow up. Okay, so that's how we treat the ask for business and the referral. You guys will notice that the initial contact has no expectation of receiving business and no expectation of actually receiving a referral, right? If Andrew blew me off, who cares, right? If you mentioned a name, great, and then you create the follow-up. This whole time I'm following up with Mindy though, I'm going, hey Mindy, just like Andrew referred you to me, I'm just curious, do you know any other investors that invest in Central Springfield? Right? Because now it shows I'm going to prospect for her property, but I'm also continuing to look for properties. Like it just shows I'm active. If she says no, no problem. That's walking away. Right? Then you're going to follow up again. Hey, Mindy, I think we put you on that Mulberry Ridge search. Do you want to be on that or would you like Central Springfield? Mulberry's fine, it's interesting, whatever. Or you can take me off searches. Great, no problem. Do nothing. Just kidding. Just kidding. Adjust the search. Always adjust the search if they request it. If they say take me off property alerts, respect them. But my point is, it's the third, fourth, fifth contact that actually brings business, right? And the way we grow our database is through the relationships we know and love. Meanwhile, I'm talking with Mindy, I'm getting reminders from my database with Andrew over here. Yo, Andrew, how's it going, man? Yeah, we're all playing. Hey, Andrew, how's it going?
Not bad.
Not bad. Awesome. What's new in your world?
Just listed a house.
You just listed a house. Okay, you're not a real estate agent. You're a consumer. Oh, with somebody else. Cool. Who should I kill? That's the actual question I asked.
Well,
Adam Grady. Got it. Okay, he's a dead man. No, I'm just kidding. Adam's a great agent. Enjoy him. We'll talk soon. Right? You got to move on in that situation. If Andrew says, oh, we just got a puppy. Great. What kind? Ooh, talk about the puppy. That's so awesome, man. I'd love to meet your puppy. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Let's move on. Right? What's happening is developing a relationship with Andrew. What I'm also going to do in that conversation before I end is say, hey, remember the last time we talked about Mindy? I just want to let you know that I've made contact with Mindy. And Mindy is an awesome human. Thank you so much. Go back to Mindy on the follow-up. And these are notes in your database. So every time you make a call, you can see the note. Go back to Mindy. Mindy, thank you so much for responding to the property alert at 123 West Central. I know that you have a property over there. And again, I just talked to Andrew. Said you just got a new puppy. Have you got the puppy yet?
Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
That is the cutest puppy on earth. Okay, so going back to business. Sorry about my scatterbrain here. Going back to business. On 123 Central, is that something that you want to sell or want to look at, or are you just kind of using that as a comparable?
Oh, well, yeah, I'll probably sell it eventually.
Okay, probably sell it eventually. Cool. By the way, how close are you to Andrew? Are you guys like really close friends?
Well, I mean, yeah, we talk every month or so.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, why don't we all get together and have a drink or do something like that?
Oh, yeah, sounds great.
Awesome.
You
Cool.
buy it?
We'll set it up. I'll buy it. Yeah. Absolutely, you buy it. That's a marketing expense. The best marketing expense you can ever pay is alcohol.
That's what we're talking.
Gosh. Okay. I'm gonna keep going. Is this stuff helpful? You guys see how we create relationships with our database? These aren't marketing calls. We're not using, I don't know, there's a script in there that's like so painful. I'm in a competition. I need 10 referrals. I swear to God, if anyone called me with that, I would laugh them out of the building. Okay. Keep in mind that when you're on these calls, what am I doing? I'm asking questions, number one, and two, I'm soliciting information. This is like actually useful stuff. Like now I know Andrew loves Tupperware and he's got a puppy and all this kind of stuff. Like that is like fodder for a million conversations forever. I can now nickname him Tupperware guy. I can do whatever I want, right? And people love that kind of stuff. They love being given a hard time and creating a relationship and doing things like going for a drink with a puppy. Like, duh, who doesn't love that? All right, page 23, here's a list of things that you can kind of pull from them. And you'll see on there, you got names, address, email, phone number, obviously, and social media. If you have a contact with someone, you need to be a Facebook friend with them. It's just the easiest way to mass market. Anyone in your database that you've met, you absolutely have to be a Facebook friend with them. Facebook used to have a feature called lists. If they still have it, please do it. You just create a friend list, and everyone that's in your Met database needs to be on your Met database friend list in Facebook. And then when you post something, you can actually post it directly to that list, and it guarantees that every single one of those people will see it on their timeline. Yeah, guarantees it. Versus like if you post something now, if it doesn't get traffic, it just falls off the timelines. Like most people peruse, they won't see it. If they're on that list, when you post, it's going to mail them, right? Almost like if you're in a group, almost like if you're in a Facebook group like Republic Buy Sell used furniture, I don't know, whatever, some dumb thing. Any post, if you're part of that group, any post in that group, you're probably going to see in your timeline, just like KWSGF, if something posts, it pops on all of our timelines. When you're in a friend list like that, you're actually posting direct to those friends. So you can post it on your main and then also post it again direct to those friends, or you can have a whole different campaign of Facebook posts specifically for your Met database. That's a fun one. Hey guys, we're doing beers and burgers at 4x4, I guess 4x4 okay, Galloway Grill. We'll be on the patio. Would love to see you guys tonight. What's that? I said, yeah, okay, so you still have the friend list on Facebook. Huge tool. I use that as an individual all the time. I got tons of leads from that. And it's literally just like, hey, just listed this house. Do you know of anyone who might be interested? It's because they don't know you're posting direct to them. They're just on a list in your side. They don't know they're on the list. We're all that way. Justin Nelson, he's an EXP guy. He has me on a list that's a KW agent. So he posts all kinds of like EXP, like anti-KW stuff, and it's all on a targeted list. And he hits it like 3 times a week, like clockwork. And then every once in a while he throws in a dumb one, like if you're a KW agent, comment on this because you probably hate me. And then it'll get like 300 comments, right? And he does that and he teaches classes and he goes, look, here's how you do it. This is how you piss off KW agents. Literally, I've been in the class. It's awesome. He's a genius. But he's using Facebook for it, right? One of the things you're going to see on here, marital status, children, pets, own rent, length of time in current home. These are the basics. These are the easiest things to connect over. Hobbies would be the other one on there. Okay. Does anyone need help understanding what a database is at this point? It's basically a big record of collection. What do you got? Any questions?
I was going to add that I usually ask what their occupation is too, so I can add to my vendor list, talent list. I mean,
yes, that's perfect. So there's an acronym called FORD, F-O-R-D, acronym. F stands for friends, family. O stands for occupation. R stands for recreation. And D stands for dreams. So family or friends, occupation, recreation, dreams. Your conversations should only be these 4 things, right? Every conversation I had with Andrew was about friends, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Puppy, occupation, Tupperware expert. You know what I mean? You've now become the Tupperware guy, and I'm so sorry. Everyone in here is going to remember you as Tupperware. His name's Andrew. He's incredible. He took me out to, is it coffee, lunch? I forget. It was like lunch. Yeah. He asked me more questions in that lunch than anyone has in my entire career. So hats off to Andrew. Good job, man. By the way, if anyone wants to grab coffee or anything with any agent, just ask. It's KW. They all say yes. And you can ask them the most personal stuff in the world too, and they'll tell you. It's incredible. Okay, so page 25, moving forward. So forward, like you said, occupation, you can build a vendor list that way. Also, it's just easy. People love to talk about what they do, especially if there's any sort of entrepreneurism around it. Entrepreneurism? That's a word. If there's any sort of like adventure in their job, they love to talk about it. You know, if they're the cashier you have a crush on, they're probably not going to talk about checking people out at the cash register. Classify your contacts. We talked about that. Using groups. I just want you guys to know that Facebook is as much of a database as anything. The difference is in your Facebook database, you need to make sure that you are, I'm getting blown up over here. When the other mic died. Aaron, sorry guys, in person, they've been asking questions, I've been ignoring them. Aaron says, how far away geographically should you go in your database? As far as you want. I got people in Oregon, California. We did a $800,000 referral to California this year. And that commission check was bigger than most of ours out here. So, Aaron, I would go as far as you absolutely can. If you're like me and you're from all over the states, then just put them all in there. Just know that the campaign that you would send those people is going to be different. You're not going to be like, home values in Springfield have risen 20%. You're going to be like, the national housing market's incredible. Call me if you need an agent, right? Okay, that's all I got. Moving forward, looking at classifying contacts. Use Facebook as an opportunity for that, because if you just post business stuff, you want to at least make sure it's going to your Met database rather than just generally being posted onto the stratosphere. If you're using Facebook paid ads, ensure that you're unchecking the box, and I don't remember if it's still there because I haven't done this in a while, but there used to be one that said include friends. We want to take that off. We don't need to advertise to our friends and pay for it. We're already friends with them. Just advertise to them regularly. Post the exact same things publicly and to your friend list as you do on the ad, right? Go for it.
On the friends list, can you put somebody in multiple lists?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can be like for you, it'd be perfect. Musician friends, out of state, you know, drunk rednecks at country bars. I mean, literally like do that because their interest groups are going to be different, right? Wait, what'd you say?
That's half my dad.
But yeah, they got money, man. They're competition barbecuers and drink Busch Light, and they sell big houses. Yeah. All right. There's also, going back to when I was talking about clothing, there's something really unique about Springfield. If I showed up like this to an appointment in the towns that I'm from, no way they're going to do business with me. I show up like this, like the majority of my appointments, logo tee, boots and jeans, and they love it. They're comfortable, right? Also know your client. If it's a multi-million-dollar home, there's no shot I'm showing up in this, right? I usually drive a really beat up truck. If I'm going to a big deal, I'm either taking the wife's car or a clean car, right? I'm not taking the old beat up truck. So just kind of think through those things. We're always mirroring and matching the clientele, just like we do in friendships. If you got one friend who's like, I'm super into video games, you're probably doing video games. If you have a friend who loves shopping, you're probably shopping with them, right? So mirror and match, but be authentically yourself. You guys have any questions around what to say, classify, contact, database, that sort of thing? We don't really have any secrets around that other than try to mimic it inside of your own Facebook. Okay, cool. Page 29, and I don't really think I've got.
If anybody's ever going to a listing where you feel like your car is a little too nice, a little too showy, I'll trade with you for the day.
Yep.
You can always take my Monoville that's all dented up.
Yeah, yeah. I had a client, no joke, he goes, I had a list with you, but you had a crappy truck. The guy's got a $72,000 house. Nothing against $72,000 houses, but I was just like, you are not the guy that I would have ever thought would say that. You know, I was just like, and of course he listed with a guy who drives a Tesla. I'm like, okay, like it means nothing. And then, you know, vice versa, you get the rich guys and they're like, oh, you drove a nice car, I don't really want to work with you. You're like, okay, I don't know what to do. So, but just do your best to mirror and match. But like, it's a real thing. Like, no joke, it's a real thing. I've had to make excuses as to why I'm in an old truck a lot of times. Okay, let's look at page 29. I hate this page because it's from the 90s, but 8x8. So when we get someone into our database for the first time, you met them at an open house, they're a friend, they're a contact that you're moving from your cell phone into an actual database, you want to put them on some sort of like a preset plan for communication, okay? So I've already told you guys that my team does like a speed delete. So it's like 1 million contacts, super fast, text, email, phone calls are in there, property searches, like it's like crazy fast. That's what we do for a specific type of lead, right? That's a non-net that came through our internet, a Facebook lead, something like that. Because the key to internet leads is extremely fast contact, right? If they sit in a database and have no contact, then they're not using you. They're clicking on the next Facebook thing and they're gonna get a call from that guy, right? Or that guy. So in our database, even if it's not a phone call, you're getting emails and you're getting automated texts, KWs, command can do that, okay? So please look at that, set up that speed delete as an automation. I think they call it auto tracks. I don't think it's auto tracks. Anyway, something like that. Here we have the old school version, 8x8. So the 8x8 is 8 touches over a series of 8 weeks. You can definitely do this with new Mets. So open house people, people you haven't known, you met on the golf course. My favorite thing to do, like bar none favorite thing is, let's say I keep picking on you, this is right here. I'm gonna meet David. I know David likes to hunt. I know David's got kids. And deep down, David is a lot like me and really wants time to get away from the kids, right? Because let me tell you, little ones, they can be a headache. Which I'll tell you the beard story. That was promised on team meeting. I'll tell you the beard story in a minute. It looks terrible. I apologize. But so let's say I meet David. I don't know it. He's at the mall. I'm at the mall. We're both being drugged around by our wives, and we got the kids in tow, and they're making a mess. So naturally, I'm like, that guy. He's one of them. He's like me, right? So I grab the courage to go up and be like, hey, which minions are yours, or whatever stupid thing I say, and we strike up a relationship. I'm going to find David on Facebook immediately, right? And I already know certain things about David. One, I know he's a dad. Two, I know he got drugged to the mall. So that says a lot about a guy, right? It means he's faithful to his wife, most likely. And it means he definitely loves his kids if he's sitting there letting the wife shop and watching the kids. On Facebook, it's going to tell me everything I could ever want to know. He likes to hunt. He's a real estate agent, whatever. Okay. So what I'm going to do, and I might not even like hunting. I'm going to find some stupid article or some link to some hunting something. I'm going to call Josh and be like, hey, give me something to say to this hunting guy. Okay. And Josh is going to say, actually, there's a cool book on it or a book on hunting. Stupid. There's a cool article written in Outdoorsman magazine. I'll say, cool. I'm going to figure out via fast people search where David lives. So I got his name, and hopefully I got his phone number in that conversation. If I did, no problem. I'll figure out where he lives. Creepy as heck, okay? And I'm going to write a note that says, hey, David, I'm a real estate agent, and I stalked you using some of my real estate special powers. This is not a joke. This is a real thing that I do. I stalked you using some of my real estate special powers. I saw this article and thought of you. Great meeting you. Let's grab coffee sometime, or because Facebook has Bush Light like Smiley Mondragons did. Let's grab a beer sometime, right? Fold it up, send it. It cost me 50 cents and probably 5 minutes. Okay. He doesn't respond to that. Like, who would? Like, if I got that, I'd be like, well, that's cool, but I'm not like going to call this guy, right? Yeah, they might write you back, but it's like, it's 2021, like, this is kind of weird. But I already told him I've stalked him with my special powers, right? And that's in the hunting magazine. What he doesn't know is my special powers on fast people search also include a cell phone number. So then and I might have got it, let's say in person too. So then I'm going to send a text like 3 days later. Hey man, did you get that article? Let's grab coffee or beer. Same ask, the exact same ask. If not, no worries, -Wes, right? Or sign off however you want to sign off. At that point, they always respond. Yeah, man, cool article. Are you available next week? Because what's more innocent than 15-minute coffee to talk about how you can better me as a person? Okay? You get so much from that. That same concept is your 8x8. That was my 8x8. Okay? So if it's a client that I'm really trying to go after, let's say he's got a big house, or it's just a nice guy who I know might be connected in the community, or it's a girl who, I don't know, whatever, makes a lot of money, or just whatever, I just want to be in some version of a real estate relationship with them, I'm going to use my 8x8 campaign tailored specifically to them. We have a lot of people who do Facebook and they get Facebook leads, right? They make the connection, they might show a house. After that, the relationship's kind of like only business. Elevate the relationship in your 8x8. Okay, this is really manual, your 8-week touch. The next, the 33 touch, that's for everything that happens for the remainder of the time for that contact. So we have our whole database on a 33 touch, and then certain sides of our database are in like property searches and stuff. 33 touches, as simple as it sounds. It's 3 touches, basically a month, not even that, right? Like 2.5 touches a month or something. I don't know, math's hard at this point. But the idea behind it is you're staying top of mind. I would estimate if you added in our social, if you added in our direct calls, our texts, our property searches, our mail, we're probably touching people about 100 to 120 times a year right now. And that's, I mean, pretty straightforward, easy stuff. No one's complaining. We've never had anyone be like, hey, that you've met, be like, stop sending me stuff. Like, it's all useful stuff. It's all relationship building stuff. Okay, anybody got any questions on 8x8 33 touch? In Command, there is a campaign library with a lot of the stuff built out, okay? The built out campaign libraries can be a huge advantage to you because you just click on them and you implement them. It's amazing. The database my team is using right now, we actually have to build them, which that's pretty crappy, let me tell you. Okay, I do like page 34 a lot. It's very simple. It's very, very straightforward, right? Just a standard follow-up plan. The idea behind databases is you're creating real relationships and you just kind of have intentionality around it. The most annoying salespeople on earth have no intentionality and they're not in it for the actual relationship with the person, okay? So if you have kind of this gut feeling that you're not going to like the person, I don't know if I'd want to do business with them, right? You might hand that to someone else or refer that. But if you have the feeling that you will like the person, you actually want their business, then continue building that relationship. Okay, you have an action plan on page 35. I encourage you guys to do this. Keep in mind that my business partner, Josh Keats, made a lot of money from doing these action plans. Continue to add contacts to your database. There is a very simple function in your iCloud. You go to iCloud and click on contacts and click export all. And they all get exported into a fancy little file called a vCard file, or something full of vCards. There is a converter that's free online to take it from a vCard into what's called a CSV file, or like an Excel file. Command understands Excel files and doesn't understand Apple's vCards, okay? So if you really want it, export all into your vCard transfer deal into your CSV or Excel file. Okay, if you need help with that, text me, or actually probably Sam. Text Sam Davis. I'll put her phone number on the board so you can harass her. But she does that for all of our agents. So when they onboard, immediately we download contacts, we convert them, we get them into the database, and we start communicating with them, right? So add contacts to your database. If you already have your database full, it's time to start tagging and really filtering through the database. So Tim McCall uses a wonderful analogy, and he says, your database is like an uncut diamond. It's like a rough diamond, right? When diamonds are rough, they're worth money, but they're not worth near as much once it's cut, clear, polished, and in a setting, right? So think about all the database cleanup and all the work you do, like cutting that diamond, polishing that diamond, creating it to basically be retailed at the highest possible price, right? So your database actually gets more valuable the cleaner it gets over time. So that's why now on our team, we have a guy who not only is his job to follow up with leads, but the other half of his job is to clean the database. Every day he's in there working on cleaning up, tagging, and working through that database, right? So please do that. As you clean up and tag your database, you're creating these groups, you're creating pipeline stages for hot buyers, ABCs, blah, 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 right? You're putting them all on some sort of a campaign. And this can be really easy, right? Once you've tagged them, like you got some in your Mets, you got some in your investors, you got some in your SOY or friends or wherever you want to tag them as, you then can actually just sort the database by the people with that tag. So if you have like pet lovers as a tag, and you can go on KW command and find a pet lover follow-up, which I guarantee it's on there, pet lover follow-up, click on that, download it, sort by tags, and then apply that campaign to everyone with the pet lover tag. How easy is that? And then I know Andrew's getting emails from me that's like, did you know your puppy can poop upside down? Like, that's incredible, right? Yeah, he gets stuff for emails too. It's a different database. But that's the point. So going back to companies that have databases, I have a self-storage facility. And it's a big one. So we have a database too, and we run it. We also have a Facebook page. So we just take everyone who's on the database, put them on the Facebook page. And when we need to announce something, it's on a Facebook post, it's on a mass email, right? Or if we have an available unit, we just immediately post it on Facebook and hit the entire database with a touch that says, hey, there's a new unit available. Do you want it? Or do you know someone that does? So instead of paying for these massive advertising, the Zillow version of self-storage, we use our database to create opportunities. So you guys find a killer 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Republic. I personally hate Republic because Josh Keats is from there. But let's say find 3-bed, 2-bath in Republic. You know it's going to go in 2 days. Just sort your database by first-time home buyer or by whatever it is, and you send a little email that says, hey, killer house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Republic, gonna go in 2 days. Call me in the next 2 hours while I'm free, and let's set up a showing. Right? Maybe you get it, maybe you don't, but there's more times than not. I've done that with an investment property or a hot property, and we've got 2-3 calls right away. There are people you have no idea they're even interested in selling because they're over there on Zillow looking, right? But you send some stupid property alert, and you're like, I've only got 2 hours, call me, right? And then you get the text or the call. So there's all kinds of little tricks like that you can do with your database, but they have to be tagged, okay? Of course, this says prepare for the next class. Down with pre-work, find homes for preview. If you guys are having trouble finding homes for preview, or you're having trouble finding homes to do open houses, I would encourage you to reach out to other brokerages. I know it's kind of awkward, like, hey, I'm a KW person. Obviously, we're short on inventory. I noticed you have this vacant house. Do you mind if I hold it open? We've had Reese Nichols agents hold our houses open. So we don't care, right? Like, I don't care what agent they are. I want the house sold, right? So if our team can't do it, or there's no KW agent that wanted it, I'm happy to farm it out to other people. Here's the key, though. Make sure the agent's someone that you like, right? Because if you do it once, you can create an ongoing relationship with that person. It's actually a very popular thing. EXP, as they started in this area, they were holding tons of other brokers at open houses. Now, again, we want written permission, all that kind of stuff. We want to make sure it's good. Inside of KW, you can kind of fudge it just by sending a text and be like, cool, set up signs. Out there, if you're in another brokerage, you actually do need a permission to show and that kind of thing. But it's actually a very common thing in other markets. So I don't see why we can't do it here. Check with your brokers on that. So I'm not a broker, but we've let other people hold ours open. Okay, page 37. You guys look through those questions there. Can you answer them all? If it's a no, then please ask me. So we're going to take just a couple minutes here to go ahead and answer those questions. I think I'm almost done with this stuff, guys. So excited. Okay, anybody have anything that they can't answer or don't think you'll be able to? We'll talk to your off. Go for it.
Yeah, I just have a question. So if your database grows to like a bunch,
Yeah.
And you don't remember like, oh, I have to call 36 people today, is it automatically say, hey, this is what you need to do today, you want to talk to this person, or like you just have to remember?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in your database, not only do you have the ability to tag them, but you can actually set them up on a campaign that gives you a reminder to call them.
Okay, so the campaign, that's.
Yeah, so the campaign, and you get to pick your campaign, right? Your campaign can like literally send you a notification through your Kelly app and through your command to call them. You can link that to text message and email too. So it can just like blow you up. Do you guys ever watch The Office? You guys remember Woof? Right? Yeah. Yeah. It'll give you a woof. Like it'll just be like, oh God, I gotta call Joey. Like it's literally that bad. The other thing you can do is you can actually set manual reminders. I think command might call them tasks. Don't quote me on this, but I believe you can set up reminders and tasks, and you can do the same thing there. So one of
On the campaign though, it automatically generates the task for you.
Yep, that's exactly right.
And so if you go to that list, it's going to tell you who you're supposed to call, what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to say to them.
Yep.
Just by checking it.
Make sure the campaign includes those reminders to follow up. That's a big thing. If the campaign doesn't have the reminder, you won't actually, like even if you put them on a campaign, you're like, oh, I need to call them in 3 weeks. The campaign, the build out of the campaign doesn't have that reminder built in. You won't get the notification. The other thing you can do is you can have preset text messages in there. You can actually link it to, yes, Twilio, and your campaign can automatically send a text message for you to them, which that's one of my favorites. We do like an end of the week text to everyone in our database. Like 15,000 text messages go out. It's like, here's what's happening in Springfield this weekend. And it's like, there's a Tupperware show and the new dog park that opened. Like, I know he's gonna hate me after this. Is so good. But I mean, that's so simple. 15,000 text messages go out. It costs us, I don't know, 10 cents a text or whatever that is. Yeah, well, I don't know whatever that matters. But inevitably, like it returns to us over 100 return text messages, phone calls, or contacts every single week. One weekend text. Even if it's just thanks. Hey, I got a human. Right? They're interested in stuff going on in Springfield. And if they respond thanks to dog park and Tupperware, guess what I'm calling them about next week? Dog park and Tupperware, right? So it's the same idea. You're just creating relationships with them. You're using the database to do that. So your campaigns, make sure it's part of the campaign. If it's not, think of creative ways to contact your entire database and bring value to everyone. Everyone's interested in what might be happening in Springfield, right? So that's an easy mass text. There's all kinds of them like hot properties. Most expensive listing on the market, cheapest listing on the market, whatever. There's all kinds of fun stuff you can do with that. We are in time for a 10-minute break. Take 10 minutes, answer phone calls, text, walk around, go to the bathroom. We will get started again right at 8 minutes, 12:30. Go. And we have another game.
Another game. Drop the mics.
It's not working anyway.
That was not a good mic drop. That was a bad kind of mic drop. Get some good stuff.
Yes.
Awesome. Dude, oh, hot? Oh, no, what happened?
Yeah.
Still 10 to 1.
10 to 1.
10 to 1. When are you going to finish?
10 to 1, yeah, is the class. I'm gonna hang out till about 2-ish to answer any questions or mastermind or do whatever you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna let you know. I had Nicole. Did she tell you about those over there?
Yeah, 10 each if they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. And it's also hot, man.
I know.
Yeah.
Struck the fear of God in me the other day. I was like, yeah. So she is getting a little feisty the other day. Yeah. No. Down.
So bad. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. This is unique. I keep missing this.
Oh yeah, the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's still on?
Yeah.
Hello. Hello, TV land.
Okay, yeah.
This is Tim McCall.
I was gonna say your name, like,
Well, I don't know. They can't, well, actually, yeah, you can't see if you can
I
see
can't
it.
see me. I think it's aimed over here, but
Oh, that's right.
I
Yes.
can't really tell.
Have you been trying to stay over here?
So on the 29th, I would have told you
I like it. We're doing okay online, everybody? Getting some good information? Tell me something great. Ooh, Wem's on. What's up, Wem? I was just saying amazing things about you, by the way. Yeah, who else? We got Carla Johnson, Aaron Bates. Awesome. Put your biggest aha on the chat for this morning so far. I want to see some great quote from the master up here with us.
Free, baby. That's right. Clean slate. Well, I would just be like, hey, my client says that the client still in his yard. When are you gonna be able to get mine, get it, or do you want me to grab it for you? But you won't be able to get it.
Ooh, did you do it?
Yeah, we're ready for it.
Good.
Yeah. That's what made me lose my voice. I got all excited about it.
Oh, no.
You see, that's not bad. That's not bad. What other company can do this? No one. No, right? See what you see, wrong.
What's that? I get a text from Nicole. One of the agents that was started with like Brian. He loved our team. And then I was
This one's classic. In the absence of other
Just a
personalities, right?
Valentine get together.
That's the problem is we don't tell our own story enough.
Dude, we are on it with telling our story.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, historically we haven't.
No, I get that, but
You guys may feel it.
they are. More than ever.
Well, they should have been doing it since like 1995.
Thank you.
Internet boom. Okay, here's all the value you need to
Yes,
tell
here,
people.
just post this every week. Just do this. Just do this. Yeah. Makes you wish you were kind of hanging out with us more.
I know. I got my master plan.
I know you do. I know you will be there.
Oh, yeah. So, how's your wife's name?
Kendra.
Kendra's awesome. Because everybody went to, what's it called, Red after Halloween.
Yeah,
Yeah, and everybody changed out of costume except for me. That was awesome. Yeah, that was a good time.
That's my favorite part.
I showed up in your costume. Oh, really? Yeah. I left my kids at home. So it's no relation to the actual full quarter.
No, it caused a lot of problems for me the whole time trying to get my name out there because it kind of comes to the internet. Full quarter is easy, but once we change the quarter union, it was a lot easier.
We ready to go? Should we just jump back into it? David's on the phone, but yeah, it's just David. All right, cool. We got one more book to give away. We're gonna do it a little bit differently this time. What's that? Someone said they want to play the game again?
Yes. Can we play another game? No,
Everyone's like, no.
I loved it. I thought it was a great game.
You won. All right. How can we do this?
So wait, well, I have a question. So you said they're tracking our training on Ignite by when we sign in. So is it just by the tracker?
Yep.
Okay, so my next question is, so the home's preview,
Oh, sorry.
what is,
We're tracking it there for our group. Your sign-in is actually what is being tracked inside of like the corporate KW site.
signing in where?
It's
Just
literally
on
here.
that sheet of paper?
Yeah.
Oh.
So this goes
I thought you
to,
meant signing in somewhere.
No, I'm sorry.
Just signing in.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't sign in except for the tracker.
yeah, no, that goes to the office and then they plug it in under your profile that you attend. What's that? That is my104.com.
There you go.
Mine for Mark. My104.com. Forgot about this.
Home's preview, what is that?
Yeah, preview is just when you just go to a vacant listing and walk through it. And that actually, this is, yeah, it helps a ton. Like you got to know your inventory because we do an open house and you know everything around it. The script is, oh, you know, like this one, great. I'll show you that one at 4:45. Like, you know.
Okay, so I don't have, my license hasn't come back yet.
Okay.
So do I just ask someone else to take me to show me the house?
Yeah, your accountability partner or group would be a great one to do. You know, what I would probably do.
Open houses though.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what I was gonna say. If you have open houses in your area, just hit a couple of them on the weekend. Introduce yourself to the other agent. Okay, quick story. Quick story. I don't think I'd tell quick stories. So I got handed a file by Jim Bolin yesterday, and basically the file was shot. We had a buyer who didn't want to buy, and the seller who didn't want to satisfy the demands. The agents in the transaction had just butchered it, missed timelines, all kinds of stuff, and it was going straight to lawsuit. And what ends up happening when you're in a situation like that, and the client doesn't want to work with their agent, a lot of times it goes to the broker. Well, a lot of times the broker isn't the best person to like satisfy the situation. So it's their job to figure out who is, and I've become one of the lucky guinea pigs from Jim Bolin, right? For some reason I have a superpower of getting people out of tight jams. So if you ever need anything, let me know. Probably because I've been in a lot of tight jams. That's probably it. But last night was an interesting one. It was like 7:30 p.m. I got the file on my desk and I immediately flipped to who the other agent was. And the other agent was a co-broker at a competing firm who, I mean, actually, ironically, 7 circles, right? I decided about 6 months ago I was going to start working out again. And so I got a gym membership, and this guy has been at the gym every single time I've been there. So every single time I've said hi, talked about the real estate market, moved on. So 7:30 get this contract. I call him. I go, Paul, probably shouldn't use his real name, John. This contract's going to hell in a handbag. You know it, and I know it. It's just been handed to me to try to resolve, basically mediate. What can we do here? And he was like, man, I don't know, my seller's going to sue. And I was like, okay, that's great. How much money is your seller willing to spend on a lawsuit? He goes, I don't know. I said, find that out and then we'll talk again. It's cool. Calls me 3 minutes later. He's like, well, they just found out that their attorney retainer fee is $11,000 for the contract. So I said, okay, here's the deal. Paul, you know, I just inherited this and man, I like you. I was like, I would hate for this to ruin a relationship between me and you. Do you think that you could get your client to be satisfied with just the earnest money deposit and mutually release the contract? Because I said, the only other way this thing's going is my client's going to go finance a truck and this deal blows up. And he was like, yeah, this is terrible, blah, blah, blah. So long story short, we had that entire contract mediated by 8 p.m. If I didn't know Paul, there's no way I can say, hey, Paul, I want to retain this relationship with you.
John.
Yeah, I've said Paul like 4 times now, so I just kept going with it, right?
There's John Paul.
Yeah, that's it. JP, you know, my boy JP. But the whole idea is that co-broker relationship became the #1 thing that got the deal mediated. Now, all parties are frustrated, but it definitely beats a lawsuit, right? And thankfully, my name wasn't on the contract. I was the mediator. So I was kind of like third party. Hey, I got nothing to lose here. But that would have meant one of our agents in our brokerage got sued. and those guys were going to be in a lawsuit, and this house was going to be tied up forever. We'd have a lot of angry people, right? And so at the end of the day, your relationships, not only with clients, but with your co-brokers are more important than ever. That's why the co-broke open house thing, hey, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But the fact that you're willing to ask and help and do it and grow your business, that stands out, you know? Or like going to other brokers' open houses across brokerages. Like, I love that. I'll roll in. How's it going? Have you had great traffic? Yeah. Here's my open house follow-up script. Have you tried it? Like, who cares? Or even Facebook stalk the broker, right? Or the agent. Hey, John Paul, I saw you really like working out. Can I work out with you? Like, what do they care? Yeah. Just if you tell them it's not weird, right? Think about that. If you're willing to wear it, yeah. If you're willing to wear it, it's not weird. Like, it eases the tension. They're not thinking, man, did this guy like Google me and like look me up before coming here? Like, if you just say, hey man, you know, we're friends on Facebook. I looked at your Facebook page before I walked in here. I didn't know that you, whatever, right? Or, hey girl, I didn't know that you love Target like I do. I don't know, I'm trying to think of what my wife would say. Yeah, it just doesn't work. I give her a hard time, but there's no way I'd be here if not her. So going back to that, the real key to database is storytelling, right? This is why we've talked about the opportunity map. This is why we opened with the dip, Seth Godin. That's why we've talked about the book Blue Fishing. The MREA, this book is a combination of stories, right? It's a research book. Gary Keller, Dave Jenks, Jay Papasan went around the entire nation across brokerages and interviewed millionaire real estate agents. This was 80s, 90s, right? And more 90s. And so this is a compilation of their best practices, right? So all the stuff we're teaching, Ignite was birthed out of this book. Literally, Ignite is the training manual of how to start this, okay? So it's birthed out of this. Well, this is literally people's stories. And if you go to the back of the MREA, right over here, you get these gray pages. These are agent profiles. It's their stories, their success stories. Tells you transaction volume, sales, support, how they started, everything. If all you did in this book was read these stories, you'd be better off for it. My point behind it is, like our database, no two people are going to have the same business. No two people are going to have the same opportunities and take the same opportunities inside of Keller Williams or inside of real estate. And I bring all this back to say there's no one way better than the other. And the only story I have that really illustrates this is actually my dad's story. So this is where I'm going to get a little vulnerable with you guys. I'm not going to cry, don't worry. But my family isn't like breeding stock by any means. You keep making faces at me. This is Missouri, man. I'm sorry. Breeding stock is like when you have two really nice cows and together they'd make really nice babies. Those parents are breeding stock. You know what I mean? Well, okay. Well, maybe hopefully tides have turned and we're creating breeding stock with that. Maybe my daughter will be breeding stock. How's that? That's a compliment. It's Missouri.
I'm actually proud to hear that.
Okay, so let's go to this real quick. Off topic. So the beard, it's terrible, and there's no reason for me to have any sort of facial hair. But my daughter, we started hanging out with a guy named Ashton. He's a great financial advisor here in town. He's one that I kind of blue fished. Honestly, I was like, I want to be in a relationship with him. He's incredibly good at golf, and I'm not. You know, and all I knew about him is he loved golf. I saw him at church one day, and I was like, hallelujah, we share something in common. So I went after him. Well, he's got a nice beard, and he's got a daughter the same age as my daughter. So his daughter Collins tells my daughter Tennyson, they're 3 years old. Collins tells Tennyson, big daddies have beards. So Tennyson comes up to me and goes, Daddy, why are you a little daddy? I'm not a little daddy, I'm bigger than that guy. And she goes, well, big daddies have beards. And asked me to grow a beard. Every morning, we're like on week 2, 3 now. Every morning she's woken up, come into our room, touched my face, and been like, oh, big daddy beard. No joke. We're like 3 weeks straight of big daddy beard. So that's the beard story. So apologies up front because I do look like a homeless person most days. I tried to trim it this morning. Never really had to do that before. Anyway, going back to my story. So one of the reasons I tell this story is because there's no perfect route in real estate.
Have we gotten to the vulnerable part yet? Was that the vulnerable?
This is it. No, that's just my daughter being hilarious. Yeah, I got 2. I got a 3 and I got a 1. And right now the one just learned how to talk and she's running. And like she runs around the house, screams stuff. It's so funny. The house is a nightmare most days, but it's a joyful nightmare. So the vulnerability. So going back to the story to illustrate that there's no really great way, right? Earlier we talked about the opportunity map. Alex, I know you're doing flip properties and bird deals. We do investing. David over there who's interrupting every sentence that I say because he's on the phone. I love it so much. He's doing flips and investing and that kind of stuff too. But Zach Riggs is a great example, right? Zach Riggs rolls up in a Lamborghini and everyone's like, oh my gosh. Well, you look at his production numbers and real estate sales and you're like, oh, it doesn't totally add up. But then you look at what he's doing inside of investment real estate, which is his passion, and it's created a huge opportunity. Likewise, MAPS coaches. My MAPS coach, the guy owns a condo in Carlsbad, California, right on the beach. Jealous as could be. And he's in his condo in his home office. He coaches 43 people and he makes deep six figures doing it, right? And that's his life. And he works 8 a.m., 5 p.m., and he's already at home, takes the kids out, walks out to the beach. Like, it's amazing, right? So there's unlimited opportunities inside of this industry. My dad grew up in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. If you guys know Poplar Bluff, back in the 60s, it was not much. In fact, he was in a little town right outside of it called Naylor, which I don't even think Naylor had a police force. I mean, literally, it was like almost nothing. His mom got knocked up and baby daddy didn't want to be in the picture. And mom just really didn't have the means to raise him. She was like 19 years old. And so she dropped him off in Poplar Bluff with her parents and she was out of the picture. And so my dad grew up really, really, really poor. Loved, but poor. And so at 16, he ran away to Central California, specifically Santa Cruz, because he wanted to be a punk rock drummer. And so that's what we got. He's a punk rock drummer. And he got really addicted to heroin, like really bad. He did a 3-day stint on the beach after an overdose, laying face down in the sand and almost died, had major sun poisoning, and actually was carted off the beach by the police. And back then, there wasn't a whole lot of sympathy for drug addicts, So they figured out where he lived, and they literally kicked open his door. It was a mobile home, and they threw him in the mobile home. And one of his friends found him, got him into the hospital, and basically he made it. Almost died, like as close as death as you can get, like days without food or water and drug overdose. And long story short, he's in the hospital, realizes he almost died, and decides, I'm just not going to do drugs anymore. Wow, I wish everyone could have had that realization if they find themselves in that situation. He was fortunate enough to not do it again. In fact, he went back to his mobile home, looked around, decided, I'm going to get a job. Started working at Denny's. And he was still drumming, but he obviously was in a different band at this point. He went from the Scapegoats, which that name should tell you enough, to the Drivers, which, I mean, I don't know if that's much better, but at least it went to like punk rock to like beachy vibes, and better group. Still actually friends with his lead guitarist from that band, which is kind of fun. Anyways, he's working at Denny's at nights or during the day, and he's playing gigs at night, and he saves up enough money to buy the mobile home he's living in. This is in Santa Cruz, California. He buys it for $11,000, which back then was actually kind of a lot, like just to have some dirt under a mobile home and a mobile home, Anyway, 5 years later, he's cleaned up. He's got a corporate job. He's doing good, making money. And he trades the mobile home, get this, for a VW bus, like the cool, like awesome, you can live in it wagon. Because he's like, I'm a single guy, don't care what's going on, I'm doing it. So he gets some cash, buys that. And he also buys an RV that he parks at his buddy's house, okay? So he got the bus and he's got the RV. And so he's mostly living in the bus, doing his thing and living the life in Santa Cruz, California. God, I wish I could do it. And long story short, the guy where he had his RV parked, who owned that house, called him up one day and was like, hey, I can't afford the house payment because he's in bad health. He's like, how about this? I'll mortgage the house to you. Let me live in your RV, and your payment to me will be just the minimum, and you owe me a steak dinner twice a week. My dad's like, done. All right, so he takes the house over, got the mortgage payment, whatever. I was actually brought home to that house many years later. Okay, so we transitioned out of Central California to Southern Oregon because my family wanted to escape kind of that, Silicon Valley rat race. I grew up on 8 acres, house, pool, guest house, barn, horses, 4-H, always in the mud, that kind of thing. So Dad really turned his life around big time. He met my mom in that process. We eventually left Oregon in 2006. My dad got into real estate investing at that point because after he sold the house in California, he sold that thing for $400,000 after a trade deal, right? And the mortgage amount on it was like $45,000. So he was like, he killed it. I mean, he made a huge return on that. He took that money and he bought the farm in Oregon out of foreclosure. You guys are thinking like nice farm. It wasn't that nice. But over the years, we made it nice as a family. And so he sold that farm and some of his other properties that he had bought with the proceeds from the California house. And that was about 2006-ish, and decided, let's go somewhere that's a little less or aligns with his political views a little bit more, right? And he wanted to return home to Missouri because he felt like land was cheap out here and he could buy more of it and kind of get away and just kind of slow down. So we landed in Ozark, Missouri. Kind of crazy. But he sells that Oregon property for $800,000. Okay, so made a tidy sum on that as well and brought it here to Missouri. And so I kind of grew up in this like real estate investing entrepreneurial mindset. And so real estate was a no-brainer for me. I've mentioned that my uncle was an agent and my mom was at one point too. But this is what's interesting. The dirt that the mobile home sits on sold last year for $13.7 million. No mobile home on it, just the dirt, just that lot, 13.7. Think about this. If he had done nothing, if he had lived in a mobile home, met my mom, same town as where I met him, had our family there, instead of the house, just that mobile home, he would be richer now than he is, right? A lot richer, like millions richer, even though every transition he made was a lot of money, right? Now, is it wrong that he made the transitions? No, it was great for our family, right? It brought us back to Missouri where our family's thriving now versus where we were at in Oregon. He's made great money. He still made a lot of money throughout the years, but he would be a multi-millionaire if he had done nothing or figured out how to do something and kept that, right? So fast forward, last year. So 2 years ago, the mobile home sold. Last year, the house sold. Okay, he sold it for 400 something. That next buyer resold it for 2.2. This was in 2010. That house just resold for $31 million. Yeah, luxury apartments going up right where that house sits. This is the house I was brought home to, and it was like cool. It was like 2 houses, very beachy, Santa Cruz. Like, there's a surfboard rack on the front of the house. It was like so cool. Palm trees in the front yard, amazing. Now it's gonna be luxury apartments, right? Now he's a real estate investor, right, on that side of things. So it's not a perfect analogy, but the point is he could have either A, held the mobile home, been really rich, or B, made the transition, held the house and been very, very rich, or he could have done what he did, right? Now our Oregon house, he sold it for $850 in 2006. It just appraised at $625. Think about that. So if he had held that property, he'd have lost money. Interesting, right? So when you track his story, the answer is you do what is best for the people you know and love, right? So his decisions, although financially weren't the best possible decision, were the best decisions for the family in that moment. So I bring that back to your real estate business. Your real estate business and your career in real estate is going to be the exact same, right? Alex, that opportunity to flip that house, would you have had that opportunity if you hadn't made a series of decisions beforehand? Yeah, the decisions beforehand were education, relationships, opportunities, right? It's the same thing we're talking about here. Wherever you're at in your story, your path is going to look different. The guy who bought that mobile home from my dad held it. He's the one who sold it for 13. He made $13 million over like 20 something years. I'll take that return. Shoot, good night, right? But it doesn't make that guy better than my dad. He took a different path, right? He had different knowledge, different activities. It's the same thing that you're going to experience in your real estate career. The key to it all is what we just talked about with Alex. He had relationships in place that gave him the opportunity to find this flip and actually buy it. Also, he educated himself in a new way, right? Everyone has a learning curve. It's the same as this did. You get into something new, you're learning at a rapid pace, you kind of reach this education point and you're like, oh man, like, okay, now I know what I got to do. And you start doing it, and your education actually takes that dip, right? You like take a step back and you're learning and you're growing. If you actually press through, there's a way, excuse me if my armpits are sweating. I know it's really gross, but it is extremely hot up here. And I feel like a lot of pressure because you're all looking at me. So the entire key to your success early on in any business venture or in your decision making is to figure out how to shorten that dip, right? So there's two ways to shorten the dip. A, we can shallow it. So that's the pain, right? The deeper we go, the more painful it is. So we can shallow it up by bringing that curve up, right? So that, oh, I'm missing a red line. That's why I'm thrown off here, guys. Someone should have told me. Not that you even know what I'm talking about. Okay. So we can decrease the distance between these two, right? Or we can decrease the distance between these two. So it's kind of hard to logic your way through the next few questions. But these are the things that we got to ask ourselves as we grow. I'm sorry for you people online, you can't see. If you want to see, just go buy the book, Seth Godin, The Dip. This is time, right? So time passes as we experience shifts in our business. So how do we shorten the timeline of the pain? Anybody got any ideas? If you're going through something hard, you can't figure something out, and you're experiencing pain, how could you shorten the timeline between when you start experiencing the pain and when you're out of it?
My mentors.
Yeah.
We've done it before.
Mentors, someone who's been there before. What else?
You have to learn something new.
Learn. Yeah, totally. What's that?
Leverage.
Leverage. Yeah. Use someone else's knowledge, skills, or abilities to help you through it. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah. Practice. Yeah. Yeah. What do you got? Yeah. Look at the 7 circles, right? That's an exercise that most people don't do. They experience pain and they don't look around and say, oh, is this caused by something outside of my actual business? By the way, the more business you get, the more pressure you experience. The more pressure, the more cracks get exposed. That's my story for sure. So yeah, so what I'm going to put here is KSA. So that stands for knowledge, skills, and ability. We are working on our acumen, our abilities, our mentorship, all those things, knowledge, skills, and ability. We're growing, we're learning. We're ripping off other people and figuring out what they're doing, right? So that'll shorten the timeline. What that didn't do, though, is that didn't ease the pain at all, right? And who said leverage? Cole, you said leverage. So leverage is part of this, right? But really what leverage does is it answers this one. This one's always hard to do. How do you experience less pain when you go through a transition? Yeah, you get help, right? What else? Anybody? That's actually the answer, so not really another one. I was hoping someone was going to be creative. I want to put help here. What's unique about real estate, and really any business, is there's really only 3 forms of help, like leverage, 3 forms of leverage. The first is a system, okay? So just so you know, whenever you face an issue inside of real estate, you're missing one of these 3 things. All issues, bar none, these are the 3. 1, you're missing a system. It could be a checklist. Literally simple as a listing checklist. How do I ensure that every listing I take, I get the same thing done on every single one of them? If you need one, call Sam in my office, she'll just send you ours. So what I did, I literally, to build our checklist, I went around, ripped off all the top teams, and then combined them, made it into one that I like, and there it is. If you want ours, email Sam. So checklists, right? What other systems do we have in real estate? What other systems do we have in real estate?
You get your checklist, your CRM, so money.
Yeah, things as simple as like your budget, right? Like your 4 conversations or your goal tracking sheet. Scripts. Yeah. There's all kinds of like these what I think of when I think of system is, can I put it on a piece of paper, right? Everything a real estate agent does can be boiled down to a checklist. I mean, literally can. Like all the scripts and all the conversations we've been talking about, you can just build a checklist around it. This is my 8x8. I meet them, I fast people search them, I cut out something out of a magazine and send it to them in the mail, follow up with a text 2 days later. They don't respond to that. I'm gonna hit them up on Facebook 4 days later or whatever. Like it's literally, you can check box every single thing you do, down to your buyer consultations, to the point of like how you even enter a room when you go to a house. I mean, literally, you can checklist it all. So one is systems. Number two is a piece of technology, right? There are so many pieces of technology out there that can help your business. One of the traps is real estate agents start with technology when they should start with systems, right? Technology should execute your systems, okay? We introduce technology to ensure that the systems either A, become automated or easier, okay? Does that make sense? So the reason that we use like command, for instance, to follow up with people, even though we could have our own follow-up checklist, we can do it all by hand on a piece of paper. The reason we use command is because they're going to give us those automated reminders. They're going to send automated emails and texts and that kind of thing. Does that make sense? So you have systems, you have technology, and then once you've exhausted technology, you move to people, okay? So when you're in your business and you're saying, okay, I'm going through the dip, either one, is this something I need help with? So do I need systems? Do I need technology or do I need people? By the way, there's two categories, virtual and in-person, okay? Virtual is always cheaper. There's no payroll, there's no payroll tax, there's no workers' comp, all that stuff. And there's really hardly any ongoing training, right? You're just paying them to execute. So virtual, which that's a great option. Cyberbacker is a great company for that. It's a KW company. Or in person. So, hey, I'm experiencing pain. What help can I get? Do I need better systems? Do I need better checklists? Do I need to use my CRM better? What do I need to do there? Do I need to hire someone? Maybe your production is getting to that point. Or KSA. What knowledge, skills, or ability do I need to learn, refine, or grow in? Right? Or like Mindy said, who's gone through this crap before that I can talk to? That's the easiest way to get the KSA, right? So when we hire people, we're looking for two things. Are they going to help us? And do they have KSA? Do they have the ability to get the knowledge, skills, and abilities, right? I mean, it's a very simple process. But that's going to be the way that you shorten this curve. So database, that piece we're talking about, is part of the help. What you're learning in Ignite is part of the KSA. And the path, the blue line that you choose to take, is what we've also been talking about in terms of the story about how my dad got to where he's at versus the other investors that bought those properties, right? It's the path of growth for you. Like if you look at Adam Grady versus Dan Holt, and you're comparing it to the land of opportunity, that map, they're on different paths. Are they both successful? Absolutely, right? You don't have to have the mega team either. Look at Paulina. She did 80-something units last year alone, right? Now, I guarantee you, Paulina's feeling this, right? So she's now coming back and saying, what's the KSA? What's the help that I need, right? So no matter what your path is, you're going to experience these setbacks and curves. Use things like relationships, database, that sort of thing, to not only push through them, but to propel you, because what ends up happening, I'm so sorry that the online people can't see my awesome drawings, but what ends up happening is you take this curve, right? And it starts to go like this. See what I'm saying? You still experience pain, you still experience a setback, but it takes less time and it's less painful, right? So attending this class, working on your database, doing these things, all the webinars that are free, MAPS coaching, literally sent out 36 coaching calls for free to anyone in KW. All you have to do is sign up for it. Top agents around the world teaching virtually, right? And if you didn't make the class, you got it recorded. So on the KSA, this curve, right? Focusing on the things you need to learn to get to where you want to go, okay? Where you want to go, that's a huge one. The second one on help is figuring out not how to spend more money, but how to use the money or the tools that you've already spent on better, okay? That's where your command training is going to come into play. Our team does not use command yet. We're getting there. Our team's a little bit too big for it right now. That's kind of Dishong, you're in the same spot, right? But when we do transition, we need to know everything we can about that database to get everything we can out of it. Just like when you meet someone, you want to know everything you can about that person to create a relationship to help you get what you need out of it. That's a little bit selfish. Yeah, I admit it. But isn't everything, right? If I want to be in a relationship with someone, it's because it is fulfilling a piece of me, right? And maybe my business, and maybe my spiritual, and maybe my physical, and maybe my key relationships, right? Okay, guys, I am done. We have one section on there that says ahas from achievement. I have 3 minutes, and this is a KW thing. I need at least a couple people to tell me something that they learned or some sort of an aha. Please go. Online, you're welcome.
Some good ideas on, Referrals aren't.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I love it.
I love how you own that you're stalking people up front, so you don't have that awkwardness.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know that about me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Building relationships might start out with selfish because it's something that's fulfilling in you, but it's also going to provide something for the person that you are building that relationship for, because you may be filling a void that they didn't know that they had. Or...
That's it. You're answering the question, does my relationship with you bring you value? Right? And that takes you being a great person, honestly, and a great friend and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I like the chart because it shows you that like you're not the only one going through that, but it's like the common journey. And...
Yeah, I mean, if you could draw the real estate journey, like it's miserable, by the way. I don't know why we're all suckers for this, but the real estate journey is this. It's just constant curves, curves, curves. So dip and up, dip and up, dip and up. Like constant. That's awesome. Yeah. And the more you recognize it, the quicker you are to say, who do I need to talk to? What I need to learn? What help do I need?
I keep thinking of Rachel Lusk. I'm like, if you know your numbers, you're going to recognize your dip sooner. And that might look shallow too.
Yeah, because, yeah, that's great. Because your numbers forecast it, but your emotions feel it, right? So you don't feel it until you're going, oh no, there's no one in my pipeline. Or, oh no, I don't have a paycheck coming in next month. Like my first year, I did like 6 months, no pay. So like other months I had like great paychecks and then it'd be like nothing, right? But I wasn't tracking numbers. It's really good. It's a really good point. Anybody else got anything?
Just the little tips and tricks that, you personally do yourself, just as far as, talking to people, kind of strategies you have for like following up with people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the scripts and dialogues are the number one thing. And I hate calling them that because it's literally just, how do you get in a relationship with someone? That book, Blue Fishing by Steve Sims, I'm telling you guys, that's the number one way to get what you want without like straight up telling people, hey, I want your cash. Hey, I want you to use me as your agent. Like,
you get your wife?
Well, let me tell you that. I'm just kidding. That was pure luck. Pure luck. Honestly, that was like, yeah. Anybody else? All right, I'm going to hang out for a little bit. If you guys want to, bring questions, ask more. I'm going to be here. The only thing I'll leave you guys with is page 95 in the MREA. It's the red book. Page 95. There is a chart, figures 5 and figure 6. One of the easiest things to do to shorten this curve as a new agent is to understand that chart and understand what it's talking about. And it's very simple to understand, but just kind of is your plan for connections with your value to sellers and your value to buyers. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming. I have one last request, okay? Does everyone have Kelly on their phones? Okay, so I told you guys that I was going to promise to cover all kinds of stuff, including the materials and all kinds of nonsense that you really don't care about. You got some good ahas, so I'm now giving you my ask, okay? I'm calling it up front. This is the selfish part of what I'm doing. In that land of opportunity map under KW University, I'm working toward becoming an approved trainer and hopefully someday master faculty. The way to get there is that I need a certain number of evaluations that are 5 stars, okay? If you're not going to give me a 5-star review, cool. Don't give me a 5-star review. Tell them I'm terrible. It's totally fine. Because what I get to do is learn from that. I also want you to tell me why I was terrible. But if you're willing to, please open Kelly and type in the word eval. E-V-A-L. Yeah. Open Kelly and just type in eval. It's going to pull up a link. If you click on that link, that would be extremely helpful. Got it? Yeah, so it's going to bring you to a Survey Monkey. And it's going to ask you some questions about basically like this course. One of the questions is going to be, who is your instructor? There's going to be a list of names. Those names are the master faculty. At the very bottom, it says not in this list. Please choose that and write my name, Wes Litton. I can kind of spell that for you.
Is this Ignite 2.0
Yep.
and session 2?
Session 2, yep. So my challenge this year is I have to have 75 5-star reviews, teach 6 different courses across 3 different market centers. So that's on my growth plan this year. If you guys need help, let me know. Thank you, Jared. I appreciate your input. You are awesome. It was online. But guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for filling out the evaluation. For whatever reason, if you feel like I need some feedback, please give it to me because I need it. I know I need it. And I know this class can get better. Also, you have Paulina next session. Talked to Paulina last night about it. I'm excited for you guys because she like rocket to the moon and she's right here in this curve right now. So I'm so excited that you guys get to learn from her because she is just literally steps ahead of where a lot of you guys are at right now. So she's going to be a super fun one. All right, guys, I'm going to hang out. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you, Wes.
Yeah, guys. Thank you.
That's ridiculous. Incredibly painful.
Yeah, it's,
Oh, gosh.
I have a quick question about you. So I'm from like the Chicago area.